Hi, I wanted to take a moment and make a quick video to try to help some of my friends and anyone else in the iRacing community who would like to make their own custom paint files but are a little intimidated by the software or the templates. And I just wanted to show you guys how I do it. It's kind of a real basic way to get started, and yeah, basically if I can do it, anybody can do it. So we're all familiar with the iRacing homepage, and when you select your car, you're able to hit the paint button here, and that opens up this customize your car area. And you're familiar with the standard iRacing templates and choosing your colors and so forth. This button here downloads the layered Photoshop template. So just download the zip file, unzip it, and then head over to, I'm using the free program called GIMP. It's really powerful. It's real similar to Photoshop, and it does everything we need it to do. You'll see over here on the right side are all the layers that come with the basic template. One thing I do to get started is I close this because I don't need these. These are the standard iRacing templates. And up here, this is a really important layer. It's called wire. If we click the button to turn it on, you'll see here that it turned on the wireframe, so you can see for a reference how all these pieces lay over the model. As the lines get closer together, that kind of means that they're curving. The green line is the edge of the piece, so when you paint stuff, when you get to the edge, it's okay to, you don't have to try to paint right to the edge. You can go over the edge, as you see from the default iRacing mask file over it, or layer. So another thing that I try to do is I think of what the main overall paint color is going to be, and I make that the background. So the way layers work, if you're not familiar, is literally whatever layer is on top will be on top on here. So if I make a new layer, like for decals or something, I want to make sure that those are on top of the color layers. So to change the color here, this is your color tool. You have two choices that are right here for immediate use, and then when you click on any of those, it saves previous uses or previous colors used in the swatches here. And then if you use this tool right here, this will let you click on any color, like say I want this green, so that changed the color to green, or oops, or blue. So if you were trying to match a photograph, or I wanted this Sunoco blue to be my color, then I got that. So I think I'll go ahead and make it yellow like that. Alright, so my main tools that I use are the bucket, the fill, and this free select lasso tool. So to start off, I'll make my background, I think I'll make a darker color just so it's easier to see the layers, or I mean the wireframe. Okay, so that's good, and I'm just doing that to make it easier for the video. You know, obviously if you want to paint it whatever color you want, sometimes it's easier to see the wireframe, sometimes it's harder. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding colors to the car, and I can make a new layer by going here, or I can click on here and go new layer. It's going to put the layer on top of whatever the active layer is. So if I had this selected, it's going to put my new layer up here, and I might not want that. So I try to keep all the colors on the bottom and then start building up. New layer, so I'll add some blue, and I'll just name it blue to make it easy. And I kind of like to separate the colors because it just makes it easier. You can have as many layers as you want, just be careful to keep track of them. So come here, and this was a blue I'd used before. Oops. So most of the car templates, all the pieces go on the car. The Indy car is kind of unique in that it has a oval and a road configuration. So there's two different rear wings, two different front wings, different end plates, and right now I'm just messing around with the oval configuration, but yeah, you can see that there's a lot of pieces and it might be a little intimidating to try to figure out which one goes where, but I'll try to help you out there. So just to start out, I'll work on this back wing. So I know that this is the back wing for the oval configuration because I've already done it through some trial and error. And yeah, just start painting. I know a lot of you professional guys are gonna look at what I'm doing and think I'm an idiot or something, but I'm not a pro with this program by any means, and this is a way I found to be able to do it fairly easily. And selection tool, paint bucket, and you're good to go. This is the front wing. Okay, so I'll paint that blue. Okay. Oh, one thing I should have said at the beginning is be sure to save your template as a save as, just so that you can make different ones and you're not overwriting the original. There, I'll just save it, and then now you can save your work as you progress. Okay, so now we got this, and I want to see what it looks like in iRacing. So what you're going to have to do is, if you were using Photoshop, you could do save as, but in this program you have to do export. So let's see, export, you got to save it as a targa image.tga, and that goes in your documents, iRacing, paint, DW12. Okay, so naming, it's got to be, I'll take the name of this one. In your documents folder, your paint is car underscore and then your iRacing user number. Okay, just keep the default settings for your save. Okay, so now that's loaded into, saved into my iRacing folder. Now I can go to iRacing, hit Control R to reload paint, And sometimes it reloads in this view, a lot of times it doesn't, so I have to actually get in the car. Okay, hold on. Let's make sure that's not going to be deafening. All right, so now you can see it reloaded the paint. This is what we've done so far. I like to go to one of the chase cams, hit Control F12. This brings up the camera edit tool, and you can kind of like to go static. Sometimes aim at car helps. This is the hard part, is figuring out how to navigate around the car. So you can see we painted the rear wing, we painted the front wing, and the wireframe is on. So now this becomes helpful in that, let's see if I can zoom in, go down, nope. Okay, so you can see the green edges here. This is where those parts are actually cut. So each one of these is a separate flat piece, and then so what I'm going to do is try to paint the tips of these. So I can literally just look at the grid, count down how many spaces I want. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to paint along this line. Okay, so we'll come back to the program. One easy way to identify pieces a lot of times is there's some markings on here, like a Firestone logo. Some of them have little like bolts, or not bolts, but brackets that they fasten the bodywork down. So I see here there's those Firestone logos. And when I'm zooming in and out, I'm just holding Control and moving the wheel. Okay, so get back to my handy lasso tool. So I'm going to count again, find the same spot, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here. Careful to follow the line I was looking for. Okay, come over to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to make these blue. Okay, make sure the right layer's on, blue, and paint. Okay, let's do a couple other things here. I want to paint the front end plates blue. Okay, so like I said, I'm sure some people are real good at this. I'm not. Trying to get my way around here. Alright, so I'm not sure, might not be exactly sure which piece this is, but there's some identifying marks here. These are some adjustment slots. So back on our template, I can see right down here it has these adjustment slots. Okay, so I know I want to paint this blue. Okay. Fill. And let's see, I'll make a black layer also. New layer, black. Because I think I'm going to paint these side pods black. And this piece is the bottom floor. So I'll paint, no, that's the top. So now I've selected stuff I don't want to while I'm in the tool. I just hit backspace and that undoes my selection. Okay. This piece is the floor, so I'm going to include that. But now I have to go between here because that's the end of my piece. Okay. And close it. Paint bucket. That was the wrong color. There we go. Sorry to be jumping around. Let me go back to blue because I forgot the opposite side of this is this one, which you can see somewhere over here. Okay. See, there's that Sunoco logo, which is right here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of the times, I don't know if it's every time, but every time I look, these lines connect to the lines on the next piece. So it's pretty easy to figure out where they go to. So I'll try to come around here. One, two, three, four. So that's over here. Okay. And like this is really basic stuff. Some guys know how to use the line tools and make really nice curves. I tend to make curves that look like this, just using the lasso. Using the lasso tool and making smaller increments. So I want blue. I'm on the blue layer. Okay, there we go. Go back to the black layer. Switch to black. My trimming tool. That would be around here. Once you start getting comfortable with this, I would kind of stuff, I'd definitely advise doing some of the tutorials that are available on the website to learn how to do some more advanced techniques. And I'll put the link to, is that right? I'll put the link to the software in the description. Okay. Paint. Okay. So now I want to see how my changes look, which I can, do as often as I want. I just need to go back to export. I can do this to override it, or I can do this and go through the naming and all that. Okay, come back to the car, Control R. Okay, so now I can see I got my tips painted. I could have probably taken better care to have a nicer line across there. Control F12. Zoom out a bit. Alright, so looking at this, I probably want to make this part black too. And I'll color the top of this white. Okay, so back here. Now since I already have this line made for the blue, and I want to make this black, rather than trying to trace this line, I think I'm going to put blue on top of black. Select black, and now I can just let it overlap, and I don't have to trace that perfectly. Okay, go around here. Okay, paint it black, and then I'll do the same thing here. So you can see how that worked. If I put this on top, see now black's on top of blue, but I'm going to put blue on top of black. Back here, do the same thing. See, I think this is the camera, so I'll make that black too. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alright, so back to making this white. So I'll look here, see, I'll zoom in, go up a little bit. Alright, so back over here, I can see that there's a bunch of little lines where it curves. I think I want to follow this line, and then it splits here, so I'll continue to the top. Okay. So here's those lines, comes along here, splits here, I'll continue up to the top, and there. Okay. And to the top. Okay, just like that. Go to the other side. Let's see, so this is it. Right there. And through the bottom. Okay. Down here. And close it. Make it white. And paint it. Oops. Okay. So come here. I need to make a new layer. white. And that's okay that it's on top. Okay, white, paint. There we go. Why is it transparent? Oh, I must have accidentally hit this. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's see, I'll save, export, come back to iRacing, Control R. Okay, so now that's white. Some things that you can tell here is that this is another piece, this is another piece, and this is another piece. So let's find this piece real quick, and I'll see if I can continue the color up and around. So it's kind of U-shaped, and it's got a triangle here, a bunch of lines, and then a bunch of lines, and I want to go 1, 2, 3 across the fourth line. Alright, so this is that piece. Triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. And I can paint that. Oh, make sure I'm on white. All right. And then I think this is that other piece that's in the box, or in the air box, the air inlet. Okay, painted that. And let's see if that was right. So you can see you can do whatever you want. Export, come back here, Control R. Yep, so that's pretty good. That was those pieces. It continued across nicely. And then find that piece. But I think you get the idea. Control F12. Zoom back out. Alright, so let's look at making some logos. And okay, so we'll go back to our file. Now, as I mentioned before, with logos, you're going to want to put them on top of the color. So, with most of these programs, you should be able to open up multiple files. Let's see. Alright, so I got some different logos for something else that I was working on in here. I like to use PNG files and with transparent backgrounds. So everything, you just place it on like a sticker. I can Control C and come back here and do Control V. Okay. Now that puts at the very top of the layer list, that puts a floating layer here. And once you name it, okay, so now that's a actual layer that I can move around. I'll just move it down here with the file layers I'm working on. Oops. Alright, so now it's above my layer, or above my color. I can put this on the nose, so I can go to Layer, Transform, Rotate. You can do you know, like 90 and 180, but I'll do this to show something. So I can move it to whatever angle I want. I can type in an angle, or if I hold down shift, now it locks to every 15 degrees. So I make it 90 degrees. Okay. I can grab the center part, and that lets me move it around. Alright. Done with rotating. Now I want to scale. This is the scale tool. It works the same kind of way where if I grab this grip, you know, I can distort it. But if I hold down Control, now the proportions are locked. So I can do that. Zoom in. I'm going to put it up here on the nose. Hit scale to finish. And there you go. So now I'm going to add a logo on the side pod. Okay. There's another PNG I was working on. Control C, come back to here, Control V. I'm gonna name it. Okay, move it down to, I mean, you could really probably leave the decal layers on the top if you wanted to. I just like to organize them down here and keep layers that are like each other next to each other. I'm going to scale it. Okay, I'm going to hold down Control so that I can lock the proportion. It's kind of small. I'll move it up here. Okay, I like that. Alright, so now I want to copy this to the other side and I want to, you know, basically leave it in the same position left and right. So I can duplicate this layer, and that's gonna make a copy of everything that's on that layer. Okay, so now I can move. Now you can see I can drag it. Oops, dang it. I can drag it anywhere, but if I hold down Control, now I'm locked to up and down, left and right, or 45 degrees. So I can move it here, can layer, transform, rotate 180. Okay. Grab it, hold down Control, so I lock in this direction, and there we go. So let's see how that looks. Have to export a new TGA, come back to iRacing, Control R. There's our logos. There's the one on the nose. Okay. And what else would I like to do? I'll try to draw like a curve here. All right. Okay, so one last thing here. Say I want to add a graphic that goes over just part of a piece and isn't just boldly coloring in an entire piece. What I can do using the same technique, I'll just come up to my freeform tool, and then for our example I'll start here, I'll go around the exhaust. All right. Okay. And I'll do it like that. And then I'll come back to here. And do something like this. And again, I'm just making this up and trying to go quick with it. Okay. So let's see what we got. Paint it. Alright. Now I need to have this exact same thing on this side. So it'd be pretty hard to try to, recreate that. So okay, so you got this, we got this graphic on the top of the pod here, and we'd like to do an identical version on this side, but obviously we won't be able to draw that very well a second time. So there's a few different ways you can go about doing this. One of the easiest ways is to just grab this, let's see, hold Alt, it brings up the little move tool there. Oops. Hold down Control, that locks it into the up and down direction. Okay. And let's see, I think I need to, might be wrong. Okay. Now I can use this flip tool, and I want to flip it like that. Okay. And now I need to move it. So I need to hold down Control, and I want to try to line back up to the same points. So I know I had a mark there. I started in this corner, and that should be pretty good. Alright, yep, so it's all in the blue layer. That's good. Okay, one last time. So now I think I'm done. I need to be sure to come back up here, turn off the wire, export it one more time. Okay, come back to iRacing, Control R. And I'll just drive it for a second so I can, whoop. See how that looks. And there you go. As I mentioned, this is just really basic and something to hopefully get some of you over the initial barrier of being intimidated by all this. Hope this helps you out, and I look forward to seeing your custom paint jobs. Thank you.